Here, be seated for a moment, please. So while I was down there giving you my sermon, I kept thinking, I'm forgetting something. And I'm forgetting the clinker brick thing. I mean, that's what the whole title and the picture on the bulletin was. And here it just completely went out of my head. Sometimes I do need this for the outline. But clinker bricks, you know, in the Indiana congregation I was serving, I had a young man come up to me, and we were talking about the Christ as a foundation. And he said, well, you know, as we're talking about the cornerstone and what's built upon the cornerstone, he said, I remember my grandpa. He was a mason. And I would watch him at work, and he would take a brick, and he would hit it with his trowel and put it up to his ear. And sometimes he would put cement on it and lay it down, and sometimes he would toss it over into a pile. He said, when I asked him about it, he said, the pile is clinker bricks. We don't have clinker bricks so much anymore because of the technology that we have in making bricks. But back a number of years ago, when the clay was formed to make the brick and it was fired in the oven, the bricks that were too close to the fire would get a higher temperature, and it would change the chemical makeup, the structure of the brick, so that it became discolored, even glossy or shiny on one side. And it affected the tone. I mean, you could actually hit the brick and it would have, he said, a metallic sound. And that was a flawed brick, and so they were discarded. I visited his grandpa and I checked it out. He said, yep, that's exactly right. My grandson remembers well. And then I looked a little further and found in Rochester, New York, there is a church that specifically built their structure, their sanctuary, with clinker bricks. They're known as the Clinker Brick Church. And even in the inner walls of the sanctuary are brick with clinker bricks. And their idea, their theology behind that is simply the fact that we are all clinker bricks. Whether we're Republican or Democrat, whether we're liberal or conservative, whether we're whatever, we're all clinker bricks. We are all flawed human beings, and that through Christ we have received wholeness. Doesn't change the fact that we're still clinkers. Not clunkers, but clinkers. But just the fact that Christ has used us to make his church, to be his church. Isn't that reason enough to get along with one another? And so as you go out onto the highways and byways today and in the days ahead, remember that you are flawed, but you are loved by Christ. You are loved by the members of this congregation, and that Christ calls us to go out into the world with that love and share it, no matter who. Praise be.